Hey guys, how's it going? This is Autobot JCB here again for a brand new How to Transform video. In today's video, we're going to be starting off with a new series because today I'm going to be showing you how to transform the 2011 Transformers Dark of the Moon Leader Class Sentinel Prime. Now, Sentinel Prime's vehicle mode is based off the Rosenbauer Panther 6x6 airport fire truck, and as you guys can see here, he is huge and he looks cool. What I want to do first before we get going is I actually want to show you a size comparison to the ROTF Leader Class Optimus because what they did with that was they took the ROTF Optimus and just transferred him over to the Dark of the Moon toy line, so the size and body design is virtually identical. So I'm going to move Sentinel off to the side and we'll bring in Optimus for a size comparison. As you guys can see here, Optimus's vehicle mode is still a fair bit bigger. I don't know if this would really be size accurate, given the fact that this is basically a truck for an airport. I would imagine that the Peterbilt will be a little bit smaller compared to him, but still, it's pretty cool that we have these two massive leader class figures, and when they're together, they actually look great. I'll be showing you guys a comparison as we progress through this video. All right, so I'll go ahead and get Optimus out of the way. All right, so just like with all my other videos, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a couple of details that Sentinel has while he's in his vehicle mode, and then we will get on to transformation. So for right now, let's go ahead and bring Sentinel in for a close-up. Like I was saying, Sentinel's vehicle mode is modeled after the Rosenbauer Panther fire truck. You'll see that he's got the Rosenbauer emblem right there on the side. He's got fire rescue. I'm not sure what the 316, excuse me. I'm not sure what the 316 number is supposed to represent. Then, of course, he's got the Autobot symbol right here. If you flip him around the other side, he has all of the same decals along the other side. If you flip him around, if you flip him up to the front, you'll see that he's got this huge water cannon mounted, and this it can actually raise up. It has a 360-degree swivel, and you can either have it facing off the front, or if you want, you can actually turn it around so he can tow it like that. So either way works. All right, coming up right here, you'll see that he's got this little gray switch, this little gray button right here, and when you push it, you get traditional emergency sirens, and you even get some lights and sounds. Now, what I especially love is that, I'll go over that in just a minute. I'll go over something else in just a minute. Let's go ahead and finish details. Come over to the side, you'll notice that they have all this etched in ridging right here. I'm guessing these spots right here would be like containers for like emergency supplies. Coming over to the tires, you'll see that they incorporated the bolt pattern, tire tread. They even added the detail of the shock absorbers, the shocks right there for the wheels. Coming up to the front, you'll notice that he's got this little, I'm guessing this is like a little mini water cannon. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but it's got like two nozzles on the front of it, and it comes right out of the bumper, just folds up just like that. They even added turn signals and headlights. I'm guessing standard lights and bright, stuff like that. And then I will admit, I don't like, even though I like the clear windshield, I don't like that you can see Sentinel's head literally right there. But anyway, so there's Sentinel in his vehicle mode. Now, like I was saying, he does have a gimmick that he can use while he's in vehicle mode. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip him over, and we're going to take this whole piece off. This will actually become his shield. And let's go ahead and pop this off right here. It's just held on in this port and this port by these two pins that are right here. When you transform him back into his vehicle mode, you have to kind of make sure those are like perfectly aligned. Otherwise, the shield won't snap into him. But as you guys can see here, we have Sentinel's shield, and just like in the and even though it didn't show it in the movie, his shield can actually didn't work. Flip out just like that. Give it more of an intimidation factor, whatever. So we'll go ahead and excuse me. Go ahead and flip that shut, flip that down. Now with his shield, what you can actually do is we'll go ahead and start by moving the water cannon. We'll just flip it back, and what we'll do is we'll flip these pieces down. Now you'll see that he has a port here and a port here. What you can actually do is you can take these two pegs on the shield, and when you insert them, you get a a locking sound, which will actually tell you that the, because there's actually a button inside the pin underneath here. And what you can do is when you push the button on the shield, it will deploy like a weapon mode, which I think is pretty cool. And then you can take the water cannon and just flip it right on top. And then every time you push the button with the Cybertronian symbol on it, this piece will be pushed back and it will make some type of rocket sound. I don't know exactly, but either way, it's still pretty cool. And then we'll just go ahead and click that shut, click this shut. And, what's going on? There we go. Flip that down, and we'll just go ahead and remove the shield. And as you do, as you just heard there, you get the classic transformation sound when you remove the shield from the top of him. So we're just going to go ahead and set this off the side because we'll be using this later. But now is the fun part, because now I'm going to show you how to transform Sentinel Prime. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn him all the way around. We're going to come to the back of him, and you'll see that there's a seam right here. We're going to go ahead and pull that apart just like that. And that way we can get, because this side will actually become one leg and this side will become the other. What we're going to do next is we'll take these rails, we'll fold them all down just like this, and then we'll flip this whole section up just like this. We'll get it up out of our way, which will actually reveal Sentinel's sword. And we'll just go ahead and take that out of there. And he does have the double-bladed sword just like he has in the movie. And one thing I like is that if you want, you can take one blade off so he has just the single blade, or you can just leave it on either way. All right, so there's his sword. We'll just go ahead and fold that over, and we'll put it off the side because we're going to be using that later too. All right, so now comes the fun part. All right, so what we're going to do is you're going to see there's a panel right here where the 316 is on each side. What we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and snap those down. Now you'll see that this is actually going to be Sentinel's arm right here. And what you'll do is there's actually a connector pin right here that is actually held on right there. There we go. All right, so there's a connector right here, and there's the pin right here. That's what holds this up. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the other side. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to pop that down just like that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and we're going to disconnect this wheel. And it just kind of pops up, and when you do, and you'll see that there's a hinge right here. What you'll do is you'll pop it off of its housing, you'll flip it down and flip it behind, or in this case, underneath. We'll go ahead and do that to the other side as well, just like that. And now what we'll do is we will take this whole section right here. This edge right here, this piece right here actually just fits around it. It doesn't actually connect to what will become his fist. So when you undo that, just go ahead and kind of roll it and then just bring it straight down. Now, for me, typically doing each leg one at a time instead of bringing them both down at the same time is a little bit easier. So I'll just show you that. All right, so we have his left leg. What we're going to do first is we're actually going to turn it. So that way, yeah, I guess I could have turned it the other way. All right, so we have it turned. So that way we have one of the wheels facing straight out because this is going to be inside of his leg. And then this just kind of all folds over on itself. So what we're going to do first is you'll see that there is a little panel right here. We're going to flip this open because that will reveal, give you access to this little peg, and that will pin right into there. So we'll go ahead and bring this around. If I can get it to behave. Come on. There we go. All right. Bring it around and lay that flush against the wheel. And click that in just like that. And then we'll just take the whole rest of the leg, and there's a connector right here with a pin right here. Go ahead and connect that right there. And then what we'll do is we'll come down here, go ahead and pull this apart, just fold these both back, and then fold them up. And when you fold these back, there's actually a pin right here that will actually fit into a little housing right there, and this will form the back of Sentinel's leg. And there we have Sentinel Prime's left leg already set and ready to go. All right, so the next thing we'll do is we're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to just kind of roll it off what will become his arm, bring it down, and then we'll just give it a turn the opposite way, make it a little bit easier instead of going all the way around. And we'll go ahead and flip open that panel just like on the other side. And we'll bring this around and snap that in. Snap this piece in right there. And we'll come over here open this up. And, oop, got hung up there. There we go. And we'll fold that behind him just like that. Put those two pins together just like that. Fold those up just like that. And there we have Sentinel Prime's legs already set to go. One thing I like is that he does actually have a little bit of ankle articulation, which is pretty cool. It just the articulation for this particular figure is very, very limited. So unfortunately, you can't put him in a lot of poses, but he does actually look pretty good on my pretty good on the display. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up to here, and we're going to take where there's a seam right here. We're going to go ahead and pull that apart just like that. And we'll come on to the other side and do the same thing. Just pull it apart just like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come right here and we're going to grab this piece, this edge right here. We're going to pull it out. And as you do, you'll bring it over and then fold it up just like that. So grab it, disconnect it, and bring it down and bring it up. Just kind of fold it up above Sentinel's arms because it's just kind of on this little weird L-shaped hinge right up in here. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come down here. We're going to flip out the wheels, and then we're going to flip this piece down and this piece down. And if it helps, go ahead and pull this whole section out just like this, because then what we'll do is disconnect this piece right here, disconnect it from those two pins, because now what we can do is we can bring this whole, we now have free control of this, and we'll go ahead and bring his legs back, which will line him up with his groin, whatever you want to call it. All right, so we have that, and then what we'll do is we'll come back into here. We'll take these two pieces, fold them up behind him, and link them together for the underskirt of his wings. All right. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to work on where his head will come out. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to flip in the little hose that's right there on the front. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and fold this forward just to kind of get that clearance right there. And then what we'll do is we'll take the door and we'll pop it out if I can get it to behave. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. There we go. Pop that out just like that. It just comes out on a little hinge. And it'll come out a fair bit. As you bring it out, go ahead and grab the rear view mirror and flip it in just like that because those won't be visible when he's transformed. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. We'll bring this out as far as it'll go. And then we'll flip in the rear view mirror just like that. The next thing we'll do is we'll come right here and we're going to flip the windshield forward and we're going to flip up his head just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the windshield, we're going to fold it in, and it will just kind of, and you'll see that there is a little bit of an issue with that ridge right there. And what you do is just, when you push it in, it just kind of pops in. Just be careful when you do it. But it'll actually pop into the chest cavity just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll take this, what was the bumper, we'll bring that down. And then where the hose was, that actually sits right below where his head was. And then we'll go ahead and take this piece and fold it back in and connect it onto the pieces on Sentinel's collar, just like that. Then what we'll do is we'll take where the doors were, and there's a little edge right in here that will actually go right above this, right around this pin. We'll go ahead and do that, but before you do that, make sure you take the lower half of this door and fold it in just like, so it looks like that. And then bring it over and set it up into its position. All right. Excuse me. Okay, so we'll go over to the other side. We'll do the same thing. We're going to fold in the lower half of the door. We're going to swing it over, line it up just like that. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to take these red pieces that we folded out earlier. We're going to push this whole piece up into its position. I don't know why it's not going in. Just give me 1 second. There we go. All right, so push that. There we go. Push that up into that position there. Fold these red pieces up just like this. And then bring the tires back up. They won't go all the way up, but they will just kind of sit at an angle just like that. The next thing we'll do is we'll come right here and we're going to grab this whole section. We're going to pop it down because it actually sits on an edge. There's a little lip right here that is actually connected onto that pin. We'll bring that down. We'll bring it out to the side And you'll see that there's another connector pin right there that will actually connect right into it. And then we'll twist it up. We'll bring his arm down just like this. And we'll fold this down behind his arm just like that. All right, so we'll disconnect, bring it over, clip it back in, rotate the shoulder, bring the arm down, and flip that piece down just like that. And then what we'll do, we'll come around to his back, and now he should be able to actually stand up on his own. Come on, Sentinel. There we go. All right, let me raise the camera up a little bit for you. All right, so this right here is actually the whole top piece of the top of the fire truck. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and just bring this all the way down, and we'll take this, we'll flip it, we'll spin it all the way around, and then we'll flip it down just like that. And then we'll go ahead and take this and just pull it apart, and there we go. All right, so there we have it all pulled apart. We'll get him turned back around. And there we have Sentinel Prime, transformed and ready to go. And then, of course, with his fists, he does actually have some articulation in his fingers, which is actually pretty cool. And then he has a little bit of a wrist joint, which I think is nice. And then, just like in the movie, Sentinel's obviously going to need his weapons to do whatever. Even though we all know what ended up happening with Sentinel in the movie. All right, so we'll go ahead and flip out his sword, and we'll just go ahead and put that in his hand. Now, what I typically like to do is I like to have just the one hook that's on the blade here folded up, but if you want to put it in his hand where the hinge is on the inside, you can. It's really easy to do. You obviously just flip it around, put it in his hand, and close his fist, and there he has his sword. And then, of course, with his shield, you can attach it to his arm in whatever way you want. You could take one of the pins, you could put it on his shoulder, or if you wanted, you can actually take this piece right here, which is actually a flip out handle or a grip, and put it right there in his hand. So he is ready to go. And I will actually let Sentinel do the introduction, because there's actually a button right here, and when you push it, he introduces himself as Sentinel Prime. I really wish that Sentinel in the movie honestly had not betrayed the Autobots, because I think it would have been cool to see Megatron go toe-to-toe with Sentinel instead of what actually happened. But either way, I think Sentinel was a cool character. I just wished that it hadn't ended the way it did. But anyway, so there we have Sentinel Prime, transformed and ready to go. And one thing I wanted to do, I said this earlier in the video, I want to show you a size comparison to Optimus and Sentinel. I showed you with him in his vehicle mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Sentinel back, and I will bring Optimus back in, and you can see a size comparison. Now, in all honesty, I think Sentinel is actually a little bit bigger than Optimus in the movies. I'm not sure why they made them roughly the same size. But one thing I did notice is that if you look very carefully, their helmet shape is very similar. And as we saw in the movie, when Sentinel got completely thrashed by Megatron, his helmet actually comes off. So I've always wondered if Optimus Prime's helmet could actually come off too, as where like the helmet is like a sign of their stature or their rank or whatever. However it is what it is. But guys, thank you so much. That was the 2011 Transformers Dark of the Moon Leader Class Sentinel Prime with an appearance by Optimus Prime. If you guys have any other ideas for other Transformers you'd like me to try and do, feel free to comment below, even hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell, and I will do what I can to help you out in the future. And until then, bye.